how much do people watch the House of Commons?
Well, I don't know that people, I mean, well, I have to say I'm surprised how many people do watch CPAC, because I run into people all the time who say, oh, I saw you the other night on that emergency debate. I loved what you had to say about, you know, whatever. It's not about who watches it. It's about the respect for our institutions and the understanding of what kind of system of government we have. We are not a presidential system, no matter how much Stephen Harper has, and not just Stephen Harper, before him, a whole series of prime ministers have continually accumulated powers unto themselves, and the prime minister who follows consolidates that power and expands it. So it's become extremely dangerous for Canadian democracy to fail to understand that in a Canadian election, we do not elect a prime minister. And anybody who stands up and says, I'm running for prime minister, has just sort of bastardized our whole system through a foolishness. We are, each of us as MPs, running to be a member of Parliament. And then when we assemble in the House of Commons, if it wasn't for the existence of political parties, we could choose who among us should be prime minister. Now, given that political parties have a lot of power, that changes the equation. But it doesn't mean that Parliament should stop performing the role that Westminster parliamentary democracy demands of us, which is to be the accountability mechanism on the Prime Minister and his or her caucus, with Privy Council. We have a role to keep the executive to account, including those members of the governing party who are backbenchers. Their responsibility is to their constituents. So I don't know whether Canadians are watching Parliament or not, but what matters as an MP is to do the work for my constituents, to hold the executive to account, to root out the information, and to try to create the kind of atmosphere where we can work together cooperatively, which, as I talk about in the book, I saw day to day happening in the 80s when I worked for the Minister of Environment when Brian Mulroney was Prime Minister. It wasn't that long ago that the Canadian Parliament functioned without the toxic levels of hyper-partisanship we see today. So whether Canadians are watching or not, that's my job. And I'm in the House more than any other MP, well, certainly more than any other leader, and probably more than any other MP. And, you know, I love Parliament, and I love democracy, and it's an honor to be there. And I've had people say to me, well, with an election coming up, you shouldn't be in the House of Commons. You should run across the country giving speeches to drum up support for the Green Party. Maybe I should, but I won't, because the voters of Saanich Gulf Islands elected me to be their member of Parliament. They didn't elect me to run around the country building support for the Green Party, except to the extent I can do that and be in the House and do my work.
Right.